Welcome to Season 1 recap of Bonding. We had been looking at our channel's analysis and found out that 99.1% of the viewers don't subscribe. So it's a kind request you subscribe to our channel and help us hit the 1000 subscribers milestone. In need of money to pay rent, Pete reluctantly decides to become an assistant to a dominatrix. His best friend from high school, Tiffany Chester, who goes by the alias Mistress May. He chooses the alias Carter as her new assistant. Pete struggles to find the confidence to perform on stage as a stand-up comedian. At work as a waiter, a customer named Josh leaves his number for Pete on a receipt. Meanwhile, Tiff meets with a potentially new client, Daphne, who is looking to hire Tiff for her husband. Pete decides to tell Frank, his roommate, about his new job as a dominatrix assistant, leading Frank to ask for an odd favor. Tiff begins to see one of her classmates, Doug, in a new light during a class presentation. Pete and Tiff run into Chelsea, an obnoxious former high school classmate, at a bar. It is later revealed that Pete lost his virginity to Tiff in high school. Tiff enacts the sexual pleasure of tickling Daphne's husband, Andy, while Pete allows Daphne to punch him to let out her frustration. Pete goes on a date with Josh, which starts off bad but gets better after the two grab coffee. Tiff beats up her sleazy psychology professor after witnessing him being inappropriate with Kate, a fellow classmate. Tiff gets into an argument with Pete in which he states that she always feels the need to be in control. Pete goes on another date with Josh. Doug and Tiff go on a date. However, Tiff's client, German manservant Rolf, unexpectedly shows up and ruins the date. Meanwhile, Pete and Josh end up back at Pete's apartment to have sex. Pete is left entertaining a client while wearing a penguin costume after Mistress May fails to show up to work. Tiff reveals to Doug that she is a dominatrix. Pete finally goes on stage as his Master Carter persona. Meanwhile, Tiffany does her thesis presentation in front of the class, dressed as her dominatrix persona. Tiffany visits Daphne and Andy, again without Pete. Tiff and Pete finally apologize to each other. A flashback shows Pete and Tiff on their prom night. Tiff and Pete visit the house of a new client, Trevor, who attacks Tiff after locking Pete in the bathroom. Tiff stabs Trevor in the leg after Pete gets out of the bathroom. The two flee together after police sirens are heard. Thank you for watching the recap. We hope you subscribe to our channel and also visit our page on Instagram.